Okay, so in this video I'm going to talk about the solar plexus chakra, or the Manipura chakra, which is the third chakra. It's located where you're just above your navel, so kind of the center of your body, actually, the center of your being. And this center, so remember, we have these energy centers. They go all the way up the spine. Each one governs a life area, governs thoughts, feelings, emotions in relation to ourselves. So it's a wheel of consciousness, and whatever we feel about that area of life, whatever we feel about ourselves and those qualities that that center relates to, will show up in that center, and will show up in our bodies, in our health, in certain parts of our life. Yeah, so what do I mean by that? Okay, so this solar plexus chakra, it governs the ego, it governs self-esteem, it governs confidence, it governs our ability to visualize, to create what we want, our digestion. And really, if you think about it, it's like an engine. It's the engine of your body. So this center is really important to get things done. It's the action center. Remember when I talked about the sacral chakra? If you haven't seen the video on that, I'll link it below. The sacral, which is the one below it, is all about relaxing. It's a feminine energy, allowing things to come to you. Joy, creativity, restfulness. This one, if you think about it, is like the sun, the firepower, the engine, our own internal ability to get things done, to make things happen. So it's an action-orientated center, and it's the one that drives our ability to make things happen, to make things come true, to push forward with plans and ideas. Yeah. So if you think about it this way, the root chakra can be thought of as, if you think about an oil lamp, the root chakra is the lamp itself, the sacral chakra is the oil, and the solar plexus, the Manipura, is the flame. Yeah, this is the fire center. It's think about it as your own internal fire. Yeah, your own internal fire. Now, why is this center important? So when I first started meditating, first time I sat down to meditate, I sat down and this was the first center that actually spoke to me. So I started meditating, I closed my eyes, I didn't really know what I was doing. And this was the center that I just felt this spinning energy in. Yeah, back in the day, I wasn't a meditator. I'd never meditated before. I was a lawyer. I was someone who looked for evidence, who looked for, if I can't see evidence of this thing, I don't really believe it's there. I don't believe it's real. And when I sat down to meditate that day, I felt this spinning energy in this part of my body, just above my navel. And I remember, first of all, it's really weird. I hadn't experienced anything like that before. But I remember looking down to see if there was anything there, like what was causing it. I opened my eyes, I looked down, and there was nothing. My body was completely still. This was purely an internal feeling, so generated by my energy system. Right? I wasn't taking any drugs, I wasn't doing anything illegal, I wasn't drunk, I was just sitting on my bed meditating, and I felt the presence of this spinning energy, and I remember thinking, gosh, that is really unusual, and what does it mean? And it was my solar plexus that had become very imbalanced. Now, for most of us, this is a center that is actually lacking energy and lacking balance. So how can you know, right? I knew mine was imbalanced because of the way it was spinning out of control that day. So how can you know if this center is imbalanced for you? What are some of the common things? Now, every center in the body, every energy center in the body can have too little energy or too much. If your solar plexus has too little energy, chances are you will lack confidence in yourself. Even if you kind of project confidence to other people, within you will feel a lack of confidence. Yeah, you'll feel a lack of confidence. You will tend to procrastinate on things. So you'll have these ideas generated by the sacral chakra. You'll get all creative, you'll get all enthusiastic, but when it actually comes to taking action and moving forward, something will hold you back. You'll find that you don't have the energy to move forward with those ideas because there isn't enough fire, there isn't enough energy being generated here to help you move forward. Yeah, and there are many reasons for that, which I'll go into, but that's a sign that there's not enough energy, not enough firepower going into this center. You may find as well you tend to have a hunched over posture, so that part of your body kind of does that very naturally. You walk in a way that you're kind of contracted. You might even slightly be hunched over with your entire spine. So again, it's kind of an indication that that center doesn't have energy. If you think about the flip side now, flip side is if this center is very, very energized, yeah, so maybe there's too much energy in this center, and this is where I was when I was meditating. It means you are someone who is prone to anger issues, which I was, right? You might be very, very fiery. You might be somebody who walks with that sort of very strong chest out. So think of someone you might know who's very egotistical. They kind of walk with a certain posture, don't they? It's like they're sticking out that solar plexus part of their bodies even. They might even protrude that section out. So it's like it's projecting forward the ego, projecting forward that energy that you tend to do if this center has too much energy in it. And you might wonder, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with having too much energy? You know, you get things done, you make stuff happen. Well, the reason there's a problem with that is, first of all, that confidence that you're projecting, or that confidence, it's not really real. It's actually coming from a place of insecurity. Because when this center is balanced, you don't actually project forward with the ego. You come from a place actually of much more balanced and quiet confidence and an internal confidence. So rather than sort of pushing out the self-esteem and the ego and taking action and being in people's faces and being really angry and authoritative, you have a balanced aura, a balanced center, and actually as a result you become quite magnetic to people. People start to see you as a leader when this center is very, very balanced. The other things that can happen if there's too much energy in this center, you can actually get sick. So if you think about all of the parts of the body that relate to that are located above the navel, you've got your digestion, right? You have your stomach, you have all of those, the pancreas, right? All of those areas, those regions of the body, if you're constantly firing them up and constantly generating energy and you're in balance there, you will probably suffer from digestive problems. Very common for people to develop ulcers, other digestive issues, you know, things like where you're going to the bathroom too much. Anything like that is an indication that this center has become out of balance. Okay, so those are some sort of signals to you that this might be a center that has become out of balance for you, and long term that can start to create some problems if we don't do something to address that balance. Remember, the chakra system is a system, and for a system to work, if you think of like the wiring of your house, if one wire, right, is, or even one light bulb is like too bright, it affects the balance of the entire house. That bulb could blow. Yeah, so it causes an imbalance, and for the entire system to work properly, for the wiring to connect and work really well as a system, we need balance. Okay, so we need balance. It's really, really, really important. So what I would notice is when this center was out of balance for me, it's because I was working as a lawyer, I was working really long hours. I was very much in my doing energy, which is also known as the masculine energy. So this center had become out of balance because it was used to kind of working against my natural nature, against anyone's natural nature. So becoming really masculine, becoming really doing focused, not resting enough, not taking enough time to balance and ground and center. I would get very, very angry very, very quickly. I was very fiery. I was actually known for being very fiery, and I still am actually quite fiery. I'm naturally quite fiery. I have a very strong connection to this center, but it wasn't in control. Yeah, so that anger would arise in me, would be generated by this center, and it was such a sign that it was out of control because it wasn't in control. Like I could not control my rage. Okay, and so for you, if you struggle with anger issues, then the solar plexus is kind of crying out for attention and balance. Yeah, it wants you to address it. It wants you to look at those things which are causing it to churn out this energy. Okay, so something to think about. It could be the case for you as well. In Ayurvedic terms, if you're familiar with the Ayurvedic system, this is known as having pitta, too much fire. Yeah, so if you've got too much fire in the body, that causes lots and lots of health problems, not just in this area, but all over the body. So having too much of any element is not a good thing. And as I say, it's a system and we want it to be balanced. So how do you bring it into balance? So you might think, okay, yeah, it is imbalanced. How can I bring it into balance? Well, the first thing, because I always like to work with the physical body. I think the physical body is so much easier to work with than the mind. So a really simple thing you could do, yeah, if you think about fire, this is the fire center, right? It's connected to the sun and to the fire energy. We kind of have to calm that fire down. Yeah? So if the fire is raging out of control, we have to calm it down. And a really great way to calm down a fire is to use the element of earth, or to connect to earth. So something really simple you can do. Let's say you're having a day where you're feeling like really out of control, or you're feeling like I'm in activity mode, I'm like manic. I'm just going from thing to thing, to action to action to action. Lie down on the floor, flat on the floor, with the part of your solar plexus, so this area, right? Lie down on the floor with that touching the ground, touching the earth. Lie down for about 5 minutes. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable, but lie down on the earth with that part of the body just touching the earth. Immediately you will notice your energy start to ground. Immediately as well, you'll notice your mind start to calm down. Okay, so if you can, lie down on the ground with your feet flat on the earth, with your stomach flat on the ground. Other things you can do, again, lots of the root chakra stuff I recommended is doing some grounding. So actually going into nature, hydrate more. Yeah, remember it's a fire, so it might be that your body's not getting enough water to actually calm down that fire, so you might need to just hydrate a little bit more. Consciously slow down. Yeah, consciously slow down. Now if you're someone who's very pitta, very fiery, very active, wants to kind of constantly do stuff, that's going to be quite difficult for you. So consciously encourage yourself to slow down and create more moments where you actually lean into the silence. You lean into the not doing any activity. And notice what happens in your body when you do that. It's probably going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be something in you that's going to want to get up and do stuff and make stuff happen. And I would say really resist that temptation. If you need to get some energy out, get it out, but then lean into that chilling out energy, that yin energy. Just calm down a bit, and then notice the thoughts that come into your mind. Notice the thoughts that come into your mind when you do that. So, and I would journal them down, like write them down. What is my mind telling me now when I try to calm down? Because all that's happening at that point is your brain is on like a continual loop, and it's just habits. It's just neural pathways that have formed into habits that are like encouraging you into this very masculine mode, overly masculine mode. Really important if you're a woman, actually. A lot of us women, because we work in male-dominated industries, in a male-dominated society, we have become used to taking action and doing activity constantly. And a lot of us need to balance this center, because we have become overly masculinized. And I mean masculine in terms of energy, not gender. So we've gone too far into our masculine energy, and our body needs balance. And when that actually happens, we can even struggle with, PMS and menstrual issues, fertility issues, because we've got too much of that masculine energy. So if you've got too much, that's the way to balance it. But what if you haven't got enough? What if you lack confidence and self-esteem and you need a bit more firepower? Here I would suggest working, there's a few things you can do. The first is yoga. Yoga is designed to balance the chakra system. So warrior poses, if you think of a really strong, really powerful warrior, they stand chest out, as I said, and the warrior poses actually are designed to really fire up and energize this center. You can use warriors 1, 2 or 3. Start with warrior 1 if you're a beginner to yoga, but start with the warrior posture. So this is like what's now called somatic psychology. When we hold our body in a specific posture, our thoughts, our emotions and our minds start to change as well. So the easiest way to fire up this center, if you're feeling like you're procrastinating, go and hold a warrior posture. In fact, a really good little technique is notice your thoughts before you do the posture. Just journal them. Hold the posture and then notice your thoughts after the posture. And chances are you'll fire up this energy of like, I feel like a warrior, I am a warrior, I'm going to go move forward and I'm going to take action. So the warrior posture is really a really good one. Another thing to do is connect to the energy of the sun. So this is the fire center, it's related to the element of fire, and you can just actually go out and look at the sun. The sun is energizing, it's life-giving. We are made of the elements. And when we connect to the energy of the sun and we're around the sun, immediately our system responds with energy and wanting to move forward and take action. So you can either go out into the sun. If it's nighttime and you've got stuff to do, you could even just look at an image of the sun, or even close your eyes and visualize the sun, and visualize the sun in your solar plexus. Okay, just do that. Just trust the process. You might be sort of, the intellectual mind wants to get in and wonder what. Try it. Just try it. Just try it and have a bit of faith that it's going to work and see what happens. Yeah. Easiest way to change our lives is to start with our energy rather than try and constantly reprogram the mind. It's such a simple thing to do. And actually the warrior pose, you hold that pose with intention, and the intention of actually giving you self-confidence. So I'm going to hold this pose with the intention that it gives me confidence. I'm going to hold this pose with the intention that it lets me feel like the warrior that I am inside of me. The minute you do that, you will start to feel those qualities and have that energy. The other thing that's really powerful for this center, every chakra governs one of the senses. Yeah, and I'll do a separate series on that, on the senses, how they relate to chakras, because there's so much information there. But every chakra governs a sense, and the sense for this one is vision. So it's not just vision and what you see, it's also inner vision. So if you struggle with visualization, if you struggle with seeing things, right? Seeing the truth, seeing who you really are, seeing your goals as manifest, this is the center to really focus on and work with. Okay, so a side effect of balancing this center is you are able to then almost hold a vision internally, like create an internal dream, an internal vision within yourself to create that in the world. Okay, so you can actually visualize something very clearly. Your visualization gets more crystal clear. You start to believe in that visualization a lot more, because this center, the energy of this center is kind of driving that process. Okay, so there's many benefits. Ultimately, it is the center of your self-esteem and yourself. And what do we need in this world to get anything done? We need to feel confident. We do. So whether it's whether it's a confidence that comes from fake external sources, right? We know that sort of confidence doesn't last, right? Whether it's a lack of confidence that comes again from probably external sources, none of those two extremes are good. When we feel a really healthy self-esteem and a healthy level of confidence, which is generated by our energy system, our internal engine, then we're able to go and create things in this world. And as I said, it starts to make you really magnetic. people start to see you as a leader, because people can sense and feel your energy. Just think about it. Think about someone you know who really is a leader, a great leader. You can sense it. You feel it. You can see it just in the way they show up, in the way they speak, in the way their voice comes out, in the way they hold their body. You feel it. You feel safe around them. You feel like you're around a very trusted, confident leader who is able to have a vision that you can all work towards. Like, you trust them in their vision. You want to buy into that vision. You want to be a part of that vision. So that is how the solar plexus can help you. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that it sparked a bit of thinking around whether this might be balanced for you, imbalanced for you, or like over-energized, under-energized, whatever the situation might be. Start thinking about it. Start connecting to it. Whether you meditate or not, you can meditate on this center as well. But really start reflecting on, instead of looking for external sources, right? How can I be more confident? What can I do? What book can I buy? What can I read? Go within. Go within and start to understand that actually the answers to all your problems really lie inside you. They really lie inside yourself and your energy. And the minute that shifts, you feel completely different. You just start to feel completely different. So I hope that was helpful. Enjoy, share your comments, your reflections, your concerns. I love your questions, concerns and comments. So please do share them in the chat. And if there's any follow-up videos you want after this, anything that I haven't answered, any new questions that have come up, please ask them in the chat, because then it'll inspire more content, and I can speak to it in future videos. So I am Pooja L Dhiman. I'm passionate about this subject. If you want to work with me, explore your chakras, balance them, get in touch. There's links underneath this chat, and please do like, subscribe and share my videos as well. This is just the beginning, and I really, really hope that something has been enlightened in you after listening to this today. I will see you soon. Bye.